I got to kick this thing off. Can I kick it off? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ladies and gentlemen, listen.
I don't know if you saw, man. We've already lost some servicemen and women in the war, and man, they showed this black mom. She was there with her family, and her son was on the refueling plane,
Mm-hmm.
and she just talked about how she was like, she didn't want him to join the military, and she talked about how proud he was, right? And it showed pictures of him doing
Yeah.
the things that he wanted to do. And she was like, "Well, I thought you wanted to be a pilot." He said, "I could do that when I leave." So obviously, he got fulfillment from it, right? So in that regard, you could say, and I'm trying not to be cold hearted with this, he died doing what he wanted to do.
Right.
But
Right.
that young man had a future ahead of him,
Mm-hmm.
and to die for a war that absolutely nobody sees any sense in, right?
Mm-mm.
Nobody sees any sense into this war. You saw where it was Trump's counterterrorism guy. He stepped down. He was like, "Man, listen, ain't no,
Right.
this don't make any sense." So
And
I can't in good conscience, stand behind this. And the problem is they didn't got rid of all, not all, but most of the competent military leadership, because a lot of them was like, "Nah, this ain't. First of
right.
all, this isn't legal. This isn't right. This isn't practical, and you're not gonna tarnish my name by being a part
Yeah.
of this."
Yeah. And it's not only the military people, but I thought it was very telling. I don't know if you saw this. It was at a in the Oval Office, and Trump, he's always sitting down. He always had the people standing up behind him, or whatever. So there was JD Vance, and they asked him a question about what advice did you give Trump, or did you think it was 100% necessary? Was it necessary to bomb Iran? And JD Vance says, I understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to drive a wedge in between this administration. And he goes on to say, so I'm not going to answer that and all that. To me, that's a telltale sign that, hey, I'm not in agreement on this. I know we didn't have to do this strike. That's the way he answered it without actually saying that. And
Right.
and so I don't know what it's gonna take to get somebody gotta have backbone. I mean, I don't know what it's gonna take.
I think he's positioning himself for when he runs for president. So if the people are against it or it turns out bad, he can distance himself from it and say it wasn't
Turns
his
out bad.
idea.
Yeah. It's man,
Well,
how's it gonna
turns out
turn out
worse.
good? Yeah. How's it gonna
Yeah,
turn out
You
good?
know what I mean? It's
yeah.
definitely
But
already bad, but they always have these talking points. Oh, this is successful and this is a great success and this, and if they can
They
convince
just
because
the
because
people.
they ran on, hey, listen, we don't, all these senseless wars. We don't, we're not fighting for countries in the Middle East. Um, all
if
this
you elect
stuff.
Kamala Harris, she's gonna have us in war with Iran in 6 weeks, and all this stuff. Like
Mhm.
crazy.
Right, right, right. And and what's even more tragic, and this really tugs on my heartstrings, is how they're doing Cuba right now.
Yes.
Hmm.
They
Yeah.
really amped up the blockade, so Cuba's total total power system, they say, is
Yeah.
a total collapse because there's no fuel, and you could just imagine how it was. Now I visited Cuba, right? When President Obama opened it up, and I think when I actually went, man, was it under Biden or was it under Trump? It was under Biden when I went, I believe.
It
Yeah,
was
it was
under
under
Trump
Biden.
when we went. Yeah.
I think it was under Biden. So there's a way that you can go when it says, where you're going for the benefit of the Cuban people, basically going on a humanitarian mission. And when we went, we made sure that we invested dollars with the Cuban people. We didn't give anything to the government. It was, there were certain people that, they give salsa lessons. They would give tours that really describe, Afro-Cuban culture. They would give tours of Havana. So the money was going directly to the people. And even then, we saw there was blackouts, there was
Yeah.
scarcity, right? And what was rewarding to the group that I was with is we brought 2 or 3 massive suitcases with, feminine hygiene products, over-the-counter medicine, toys for kids, and we went directly to the hood, quote unquote hood, and gave it to the people, right? Because we didn't want
Hmm.
to get caught up on donating to some organization that may or may not get it to the people that look like us. And the other thing that really stands out about Cuba, Cuba is black. Cuba
Hmm.
is hella black. To the point like, we say Afro-Cuban, and when you talk to them, they was like, why are you saying Afro-Cuban? If you say Cuban, it means black. Now, we're conditioned to think about those Cubans that left and went to Miami, the white ones, the Marco Rubios, right?
Hmm.
But when you look at the majority of Cuba, they black like us.
Yeah, when we went, it was under a Trump because we actually went on a cruise. That was they letting you embark and so stay overnight in the cruise ship there, and get them. So we was only there for basically a little over a day or whatever. And yeah, man, it was interesting. We did go on one of those tours, and they took us to like where they had like the uh they had shot down the U.S. Plane or what have you, and they had the pieces of it, and they had the whole Bay of Pigs stuff, and they had their story, which is totally opposite of the U.S.'s story about everything. We got it took us to like Che Guevara where he stayed and all that stuff. It was kind of interesting, though. Yeah, for sure.
It's crazy because I've been to Vietnam, and
Yeah.
we call it the Vietnam War. But when you go to Vietnam, it's called the American War. And when you look at social media now, depending on what side of the algorithm that you're on, you'll see how the news is reported by other people, other
Hmm.
countries, right? Not to say that they're not putting their spin on it as well, but there are some media outlets, social media accounts that are being accurate about what's happening. Because, you let Trump say it, we've won, we destroyed the whole Navy, there's nothing else there. Well, first of all, you said you destroyed their nuclear capabilities last year. So why are we back
Right.
again? Right?
Why? Yeah, they're close to a nuke. Yeah, you
Yeah,
said
why are
you
we back
destroyed
again
it.
when you said we destroyed it? So, and I think obviously, obviously, um, I don't even want to say his name because I don't want to bring no attention. But the guy, Net Who, I'll just say that y'all can fill in the middle part. Um,
Benji. Yeah,
yeah, BB. Um, y'all think he's still alive?
yeah.
There was a question for a while because they hadn't seen him, and
Hmm.
and the rules they kept putting out like these AI videos of him, and people was calling it out. It was like, why he got 6 fingers? Like, why did his ring disappear? So they was calling out. So I don't know why they were putting out these bad AI videos that
But
were
we
calling
we
him.
all have friends who are alive and well who put out AI videos as well of themselves and
Unfortunately.
their businesses. So
And you know what? Taking it to a lot of topic before we end the show.
Mhm.
The people who use AI photos on social media, like for their profile picture, and will allow folks who can't tell to compliment them and be like,
Yes.
"Girl, you look good. You done lost weight." It's like,
yeah,
and then they'll actually be like, "Thank you," instead of
thank
being
you.
like, "Girl,
Right.
that's AI."
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. It's like, tell me you don't like how you look without telling me you don't like the way you look.
Man. Yeah. I never understood that either. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't them filters. Yeah, I remember when Arika got me caught up on the filters. We was down here in Dallas, had me up with lipstick on. So I was like, what the hell going on?
Mascara.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say the dog. You were the dog one that everybody see you
Yeah,
with
yeah,
each
Yeah.
other.
yeah, yeah, for
A
sure.
puppy
But
I'm
filter.
like, you're
Yeah.
pretty.
no, no. And we was jamming too. We was jamming. I'm in the camera. I said, wait a minute, why I got eyeliner on? What? I I gotta find that video.
Hey, once it's on the internet, it's there forever.
But anyway, listen, our condolences to the family members of the fallen service members that have died in this war. Praying for peace, praying that this war ends. I'm just praying for the American people because it's hard right now. It's expensive to live. Gas is high, food is high, and it's tough for a lot of people. And we always say, when America catches a cold, the Black community catches pneumonia. So if it's tough for us as a country, it's tough for Black people, and that's our emphasis on this show, is really promoting the upliftment and advancement of Black people. So hope y'all like the new look. We got a phone number. We want y'all to start calling in, leaving voicemails. We play that on the show. Got the chat. Shout out to Cover Girl for keeping the chat lively. Shout out to everybody that watched the live episode of the Man Listen Show. If y'all got a topic that y'all want us to discuss, hit us up on our Instagram, shoot us a DM, let us know what you want to talk, what you want us to talk about. Arika might respond. And just don't say no foolishness because she's an attorney, so she'll go blow for blow with you. But make sure you follow the show. Make sure you tell a friend about the Blackest Radio Show on the internet, the